Okay, so today we're doing a thing. We got 4 whole roasted chickens from Sam's this weekend, and we went ahead and tore them all up. And here's all the meat that we got. This is a nice big bowl of meat, both white and dark meat. And what we did was we took all the skin and the bones and everything, and we threw it into a crock pot. We're going to make our own bone broth, chicken bone broth. So we put all the bones, skin, and everything that was left over on the chickens, put it in our crock pot, and we quartered up some onions and some celery. And you'll notice I left the skin on the onions and the celery. I didn't worry about taking the leaves out or anything, because we're going to strain all this out after it cooks. But we're going to let this cook down for about 2 days.
What else kind of seasoning?
We did also add whole peppercorns and some bay leaves to the. Planning on pressure canning this when it's all done cooking. So right now we're just going to turn it on, and we're going to let it sit for 2 days cooking, and we're going to stir it every once in a while, and we'll let you come back and see it after 8 or 10 hours. Fill this up with cold water, and it filled it up pretty much as far as it would go. And as it cooks down, we'll keep adding it so it stays full of water. And you can see a little bit of chicken sticking out there. But we've got those bay leaves in there, the peppercorns, the onions, and the celery.
Okay, we're about 10 or 12 hours into this. It is on low, but man, it is smelling so good. It is filling the entire house and running out into the neighborhood. I'm surprised we haven't had any knocks on the door wanting to know what that wonderful smell is. And this is what it looks like. It's starting to turn that beautiful color. That's from the onions, I'm told. We're going to let it keep going. We got a long time to go still. Well, it's been 36 hours and it's time to strain this mixture. This is what it looked like before we strained it. Okay, we strained the meat and the bones and the vegetables away from the juice. Next, we discarded the bones and the vegetables and strained the meat again to separate it from the juice. Once both cooled to room temperature, we went ahead and put the juice into the refrigerator to separate from the fat. Now we'll remove that layer of fat from the top of each container, and we'll have chicken broth to can for later. This was very inexpensive and easy to do. We will definitely do it again.
I'm going to add about 2 inches of water. I think it was about a gallon of water that we put in to the pressure canner. And make sure you put the little tray down there in the bottom. And now we're going to heat this up.
And that broth is smelling good as it's getting warmed up and getting ready to be put into the jars and canned.
So my jars are hot and sterilized. And I'm putting my hot broth into the jars. Okay, so I am filling up my hot jars with hot liquid, and I'm making sure there is about 1 inch of head space, or just a tiny bit more than 1 inch. And I'm just going to continue filling until I'm out of jars.
Okay, we're wiping off the lids for each one of those. Make sure that it doesn't siphon.
We also want to make sure not only that the rims are clean, but we're feeling around for any nicks or chips. There we go, nip. I can't see it, nicks or chips.
Okay, now we're just getting the lids on each one, and we'll screw the rings on.
Finger tight, not too tight. Or just keep the lids on, not to seal it.
Okay, now we'll just put it back into the pressure cooker.
Backwards.
It's pretty warm.
As I said earlier.
Okay, now that we got them in there, We're gonna put the lid on and get it to the point where it is sealed and producing steam, not stream.
Pressure gauge up here. It also has this little vent. This is where we're going to put our jiggler. It's kind of like a double reinforcement for the pressure estimation. What we're looking for is a steady stream of steam coming out of here so that we know it's at a full boil. So we're waiting for that before we start any of our timers.
Okay, these are all done now. 6 pints of concentrated chicken broth. So we're just labeling them and putting them, getting them ready. So these should be able to mix a couple of cups of water with each one, or a couple of jars of water to make a big container that you would buy at the store. So this will last us for a
Okay,
minute.
so the end result was $20 worth of chickens that we got at Sam's, resulted in a week's worth of chicken dinners and 6 pints of chicken broth, which just the chicken broth alone for generic is $12 worth of chicken broth. So I think we did pretty good on our $20 purchase of chickens.